Chapter 135 Frightening News. First of all, those registering in the competition must have achieved the 7th layer of their 5 elements 1 foundation cultivation technique. This is the minimum requirement to take a foundation establishment pill. Secondly, their age must be less than 40. Those surpassing this age shouldn't even think of slipping through, because those in charge of the Great Assembly's registrations are able to use bone observation techniques to look at every participant's true age. So long as one follows those 2 conditions, then anyone can register. There are no other restrictions. As a result, however, these open single elimination tournaments become even more desperate. You think that the many people here at Great South Valley are ordinary? The majority of those here actually came here for the Immortal Ascension Assembly. It should be known that the Great South meeting was originally but a trade meet for the local young cultivators of the land province. During meetings in previous years, there were only several hundred people. Take a look. As of now, this valley has at least 1,000 people. In addition, people that come from even farther regions will arrive one after another during the last few days. During that time, the business of the Great South meeting will be at its highest level. These people are the reason why we've come to participate in the Great South meeting early. On one hand, we wish to exchange for a few necessary goods. On the other, how could one not want to take advantage of this opportunity? First, one may observe potential opponents of the Immortal Ascension Assembly. It is good to not only know ourselves but also know our enemies. Hupingu added with a bitter smile. When Wujuzi heard this, his complexion greatly changed, and he aghastly said, "According to Lady Hu, there were experts in the valley that cultivated to the 10th layer in their cultivation technique. Will they also participate in the Immortal Ascension Assembly? What is there to compete in? Aren't those with lower cultivation courting death? This might not be certain. Who said that higher tier experts would always beat those of lower tiers? Even if their magic power is slightly weaker, they can use a somewhat more powerful magic talisman or use some formidable magic tool that they're carrying to beat down those with greater magic power." From those who originally entered the room, Heijin, who had yet to speak, suddenly spoke out boldly, shocking everyone in the room. "That's right, what Brother Heijin said makes sense. In a war of cultivators such as ourselves, the slightest deepness or shallowness of one's magic power is not most important. What is most important is one's control of their magic might and its agile usage, as well as the power they can draw from items they are carrying." Taoist priest Qingwen said, completely agreeing. Brother Heijin and Taoist priest Qingwen's words must indeed hold some truth, otherwise this great Immortal Ascension Assembly need not convene at all. They would only have to compare the depth of their magic power. Hupingu smiled. After hearing Heijin and the others' words, Juzi still wasn't happy. With a brow of worry and a face on the verge of tears, he incessantly muttered, "Formidable magic tools. Powerful magic talismans." Hupingu didn't take notice of Wujuzi at this time but instead continued, saying, "Because there are too many people participating in the single elimination tournament, there will be 7 stages set up at the Immortal Ascension Assembly, representing the 7 great cultivator sects of the state of Yue. Whoever wishes to become that sect's disciple, can advance onto the stage to compete. The match selection uses an instant win policy. 2 people will compete, the winner will stay for next stage, and the loser will be immediately eliminated. Then another 2 will have a match. This will continue until everyone competes once. Then they will start the next stage of the competition, which will continue until the final 10 remain. These 10 will become the cultivation sect's inner disciples and need not to participate in the sect's greatly intense competition to obtain the qualifications to receive foundation establishment pills. It could be said to have reached the heavens with a single step. The course of the Great Immortal Ascension Assembly Tournament were as such. However, it is not as simple as I have said. In reality, the matches are a desperate sight to behold and are simply indescribable. After Hupingu said this, she let out a sorrowful sigh. I remember that in the fights from the last competition, there were 19 10th layer cultivators who died. Even a couple of 11th layer experts also met the same end by mutually taking one another down. As for 9th and 8th layer cultivators, those who died during the match were much greater in number. No less than 100 had died. After all, in the final several rounds, there would be no one that would lightly renounce their path to become a dragon. The number of dead and injured then would be even more tremendous. Having said this, Hupingu had an expression of regret. When one's foundation cultivation technique reaches the 11th layer, do they still have to go compete in a match? I've heard people say that cultivation sects voluntarily recruit these sort of outstanding talents. Why did those two people have to fight in a match as if their life depended on it? A woman's voice suddenly spoke. It was actually the habitually silent young woman, vagabond Hong Lian, that had spoken. When Hupingu heard her words, she smiled. I also had the same question as young sister Hong Lian during that particular year. I was completely puzzled despite a great amount of pondering. Afterwards, I met an old senior that was a rogue cultivator like us. His explanation allowed me to realize why. Brother Wu and Brother Han, it seems you also have this question. They are not the only ones who don't understand. Us two brothers also don't understand. 10th layer geniuses have a well-lit path that they do not walk. Why would they possibly want to insist on walking a small wooden plank? A moment of distraction will cause one's death. He Mu also tensed his brow with a face of puzzlement. I see Taoist priest Qingwen is calm and composed. He probably figured this out already. How about Taoist priest come and explain it to them? Hupingu chuckled several times and lightly threw the question toward the Taoist priest. This somewhat surprised Taoist priest Qingwen, but he immediately and silently conceded. After muttering to himself for a moment, he said, actually, those two were from cultivator clans. Their 11th layer cultivation was the result of consuming many medicinal pills. He shook his head, seemingly disapproving of the two's methods. Is using medical pills to promote their cultivation level not a normal thing? They should still be able to join a cultivation sect. Wu Juzi widely opened his eyes, somewhat unconvinced. Brother Wu forgot one thing. Those who are above 40 and have practiced to the 11th layer in their cultivation technique may be considered geniuses by us, but those ancient great sects see those people as having merely common talents. They would barely qualify to enter the sect as a reserve disciple. Otherwise, these people would have entered the large cultivation sects at an earlier time when they were younger as official disciples. It's just that their clan members felt that being able to barely enter a cultivation sect as such would have no future prospects. Therefore, they agreed to not compete against those disciples more talented than themselves for the qualifications to obtain foundation establishment pills and simply stayed behind for closed-door cultivation. After several tens of years later, they would simply come out to the Immortal Ascension Assembly to amaze the world in a single feat and immediately acquire the qualifications to obtain a foundation establishment pill through a shortcut. However, their clan hadn't expected that two with the same plan would coincidentally come across one another, resulting in mutual destruction. Were it not for that, their wishes were certain to have been fulfilled. While Taoist priest Qingwen said this, he incessantly sighed. Everyone had attentively listened from the beginning. I've said that recent Immortal Ascension assemblies have grown more and more intense. 11th and 10th layer experts previously unheard of have appeared one after another. He Mu muttered to himself. Young lady Hong Lian and Wu Juzi were shocked silent. It was clear that this information had greatly surprised them. Think about it. On one side there are great experts meticulously nurtured and fully armed by cultivator clans. On the other hand, there are us, destitute rogue cultivators. Do you think us rogue cultivators are more likely to succeed? Hupingu's expression was cold with slight self-deprecation. According to what was said, those cultivation sects obtain the disciples they want through the Great Immortal Ascension Assembly. It is an overjoyous yet phony affair. Are we slapping our own face to look big and imposing? Han Li stroked his nose, seemingly in thought. Brother Han isn't wrong. In this world, what is 3 parts completely beautiful and good? Having 2 parts beautiful is good enough. Hu Pinggu threw a glance at He Mu, making him faintly blush. Could it be us rogue cultivators are truly inferior to disciples of cultivator clans? Even those leftovers from the cultivator sects are that much stronger than us common rogue cultivators. Although I don't want to admit it, the odds of a master emerging from us rogue cultivators are far lower than that from the cultivator clans. Let alone a single one of us, all of our manpower and resources cannot be compared to ours. The conditions outside of a sect are far too lacking when compared. Taoist Qingwen added somewhat bitterly. I've also heard from a friend that even if we were to luckily become a disciple of a cultivator sect and consume the foundation establishment pill, the number of those successful in achieving foundation establishment is far too low. He Mu said dejectedly. Enough, everyone, don't be crestfallen. We are still young. If we are unsuccessful this time, we still have an opportunity in 10 years. Perhaps in the future we will enter a cultivator clan as a disciple. For now, let's talk about how we will gather together after the assembly. After Taoist priest Qingwen let everyone blew off steam, he changed the subject. There is nothing to say. At that time, I will leave with everyone. After hearing about how amazing the people of the world of immortal cultivators are, I truly wouldn't dare to travel by myself. Taoist priest Qingwen helplessly shook his head and looked toward vagabond Hong Lian. 5 elements 5 phases, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water.